James, as a man of honor, as a man of integrity like me, I'm talking about me. I need to give you props for making the right pick. And not only making the right pick, I'm pretty sure you predicted it in the correct round.
I said it would not happen in round one. That is true.
And
So
before the first time we picked the fights, I picked Ngannou, you picked Stipe, and then we switched this time. Like an idiot, I switched this time.
So we need a rubber match. Fucking Ngannou and Stipe fighting again. We need one to settle to crown our king of the heavyweight division, the heavyweight pick division.
So that would be Stipe and Ngannou fighting a trilogy, which is a terrible idea.
That's my worst nightmare, actually.
And what's funny is this: as the fight happened, I thought, like, what was I doing? Because my destiny, my prediction is that Cyril Gane is going to dethrone Francis Ngannou. But I try not to let that affect me. I didn't know if it was a protective, a defense mechanism going on or what, but this is good. This is good. I'm glad I got it wrong because now we're still on the right path of the chosen one, Cyril, being the one to dethrone Ngannou. I don't want to talk about that right now because we need to give props to Ngannou. What did you think of the fight?
Very early, I'm like, unless Ngannou gasses himself out, Stipe has very little chance to win this fight.
So you are talking about when they stood and touched gloves in front of the ref.
It was a man among ants, like not even boys, ants. Ngannou, he also seemed to be the better technical striker too in there, as well as being a fucking behemoth. When I'm like, is my screen wrong? When they touch gloves, and I'm on a computer monitor, so I don't know. I think it's symmetrical. Ngannou looked fucking gigantic in there.
That's what so I thought the same thing. And I'm thinking maybe the camera angle was just slightly over that made him that extra 20% larger. He's larger, and Stipe looked not larger.
And Stipe, he's gotten smaller, and that's to be expected. But Ngannou's not twice the size of Stipe, is he? Or did Ngannou cut down from 360 and make weight?
I'm an idiot because I mean, all I did is talk about how Ngannou is going to win and everything, and how when you get older, you don't wrestle. Stipe's not going to be able to wrestle. He won't practice it enough. He probably won't be strong enough. And I just went against all that.
So you know what's funny you saying that is like, I didn't have a strong lean. And the longer you talked last episode, the more I liked Ngannou. You talked me into picking Ngannou.
So you got tired of me talking about Stipe, and you're just like, God, can this guy just shut up?
Fine, I'll pick Ngannou. Jeez, man, round two. Jeez, I'll take him.
I got excited about the fight, and whatever. As the fight was playing out, I don't know. I don't know who I was cheering for, but my pick started getting hope, maybe false hope, where, wow, Stipe is surviving. Therefore, there is hope. Every second that passes is a win versus Ngannou. And then you start questioning, is Ngannou fading? Can Ngannou just fade by standing there? Is he Connor?
Yes.
And
I think we said this with the OL, but Ngannou standing is me doing treadmill sprints. Can only last so long. I'll need to recover eventually.
Yeah, I guess so. His muscles being prepared to launch is just so much energy. Just getting the rocket, the amount of thrust you need for it to leave the ground, all of that pre-energy, or not pre-energy, actually energy is a lot, I guess.
One thing I'm enjoying out of this is because we have like C-level Kane, motivated Connor, no, motivated Penn, There's another one too out there somewhere. Oh, TRT Vitor.
Come
So
on.
I'm liking now there's composed Ngannou as one of the most terrifying figures in all of MMA history.
See, I like that play, but is it? Which one's more terrifying? I actually rather fight the guy who just murders me and doesn't prolong my terror. He's not as
Put
scary.
me out of my misery. Put me out of my fucking misery.
But I guess I don't know if he's as dangerous or not. I don't know if he would have finished Stipe if he would have exploded. He almost did. I thought the fight was over in the first round when he was just huddled over his back
Oh my
and
Lord.
he's just punching him. And you're like, is Stipe under there? I don't know, because all I do is see latissimus dorsi and and trapezius.
That could be the most terrifying 6 seconds in UFC history. And like before that, I'm like, what is he doing going for a takedown? Stop. And I thought maybe his takedown attempt, you're expending your muscular energy in a different way that you're not used to. Plus with the adrenaline dump going on in there and everything surrounding the fight. It's not sparring. First of all, wrestling and sparring is exhausting. I can't imagine wrestling in a heavyweight title fight, how fucking tiring that is. It's got to be unbelievable. So when he did that, I was like, oh man. And like, I wasn't really rooting for Ngannou, but I was rooting for being right. Like I can't help wanting my pick to be accurate. It's like it's human nature. So I'm like, oh shit, man. Like, what do you do? What are you doing? Kristen, huge Stipe fan, watched the entire fight in terror. Sitting next to me, petrified the entire duration of the fight.
I couldn't tell. It was hard to tell if Stipe looked flat or was this his game plan to kind of just draw it out, get a feel. But maybe I think that size differential and just what Francis Ngannou looks like, you just start, you think the other person isn't as muscular, like he's literally flat. I don't know. He's terrifying. Everything just went right. And let me get to this. UFC 260 sweet technique plus 25,000 Francis Ngannou's shift cross. So it wasn't that little uppercut that put Stipe away. It was the shot to start it all. The beginning of the end, the exchange. He had like an unexpected advance. It reminded me somewhat of Overeem on JDS, except Overeem fainted, but you shift forward and throw the other hand. And so, Rogan, I think, called it a jab. It was the left hand, but it's kind of more of a shift where you bring that back leg forward and then throw the left hand or the lead hand. And it was just, I think that distance caught Stipe off guard because Ngannou throws bombs, and this was more linear and covered a great deal of distance, and I think it messed with them. So that's why it's getting the sweet technique. And it was a straight shot. And then Ngannou's short little uppercut hook, everybody says it's the shot you don't see coming, and it came from this down angle, and it wasn't much, but it is what it is.
And like, combine like not seeing it coming with the fact that Ngannou needs so little to generate power, unlike any other being.
I'm going to say that you talked about the terrifying moment where he was standing over Stipe punching him. I'm going to say that's wrong. The most terrifying moment was when Stipe was down on his back. And, broadcast is like, fight's over. And Ngannou is coming over him with his right hand ready to drop it down on him. I was like, no, Francis, no. And I just.
Yeah. See, maybe we just define the word differently, but I don't know what I experienced there. It might have been actually sorrow for Stipe's funeral. That it was grief. That's what I was experiencing. It was grief.
Okay.
I went through the 7 stages of grief in like 3 seconds.
See, I wasn't there yet. I'm still. It takes different amount of time for different people.
And at first I'm like, man, Herb's got to get there faster. But then I watched the replay and he's trying to scurry over there, but he's also, and I don't blame him, he's not going through Ngannou to defend it. He's taking the long way around. You don't want to catch that overhand right as you're running through there.
No.
Right in the back of the head.
No.
And then your career's over too.
Could you imagine if Yamasaki was the ref?
We'd be mourning Stipe's loss today.
Oh my God.
How many shots would Ngannou land there before Yamasaki stops the fight? That 1 plus 2 to 3 additional?
He would have to be charged with manslaughter. I mean, he already got off his sentence with Derek Lewis versus Travis Brown.
I wonder if Stipe being asleep there actually did him a favor in a way. Because, like you ever heard this before, like people who survive tornadoes, it occurs because they get knocked out along the way and their body goes limp. So when they're flung and they land, they survive the tornado.
It possibly could be. I don't know the science behind it, but in the hospital, there's kind of a saying. It's not actually a saying. It's just something that we say, is that the people who survive getting ejected out of a vehicle, it's because they're hammered and they're more limp.
That's why if I'm going to drive drunk, I get like a 0.25 ABV. I don't just drive slightly drunk. I get fucking hammered.
And I don't know if that's true, because there's surprisingly a lot of people in the hospital who also believe in the full moon shit. So take it with what you will, werewolf. But so I don't know.
I've never met anybody in a hospital who doesn't believe in the full moon myth. And maybe you're the first one.
Me, yeah.
Okay. Well, and we have not discussed it. Full disclosure, we discussed nothing before the show. So, but yeah, everyone like, oh no, it's real. It's real. Everyone ever talked about that. Anyway, let's.
Anytime there is a full moon, I bring a pistol with a silver bullet in it, just in case a werewolf comes. Have you ever seen the movie Silver Bullet?
Yeah, Bob Seger. It's a live. Isn't it like his live tour?
Nice. Actually, I think it's Gary Busey or Nick Nolte, but they're the same guy.
Correct. Although Nick Nolte had a legitimate career earlier in his life. Then he did.
So Nick Nolte turned into Gary Busey.
That's Gary Busey.
Okay.
This is a Stephen King book.
Booyah. I used to love that as a kid. It's probably terrible. I haven't seen it in.
What would you guess its rating is out of 10 at IMDb?
6.3.
6.4.
Oh.
You're like the master at this game, man. Congratulations. Very, very impressive right there, man.
Thanks.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I was lucky.
So
Ngannou's head kick, actually the toes caught Stipe right on the chin.
Yes, they did.
He's lucky.
Who was the guy who came in and tried to sneak in without clipping his toenail, and the outside ref made him do it?
Bang bus. Alawale
right.
Bambuze.
So I thought, like, imagine if Ngannou's nail wasn't clipped there and you just gash open Stipe's face. That's what I thought about immediately.
That's what happened to Jose Aldo. He was sparring with Ngannou. Ngannou hadn't clipped his nails, and that's why he has the scar.
I believe that.
I had to watch several times, because the first time I just stared at Ngannou's body the entire time. And based on those movements, I figured he won the fight. Then after rewatching, I could get the entire story. Jon Jones.
No bone.
No bones. Whatever. Let me just get to what my issue is here. Is that pay him more, pay me, don't pay me. How does anyone take a side when I have no idea what this number is, what the argument is? Pay me more doesn't mean anything. He's scared doesn't mean anything. What if John is asking for 50 million, or what if Dana is offering 50,000? I have no idea. Well, look at the UFC's revenue. Well, what does it even matter when I don't know what each other's offering? And is this a negotiation tactic or anything like that? All I know is, as a fan, that's the last thing I want to hear.
Yeah.
It totally sours what's going on. Can you imagine, like, before the Super Bowl, Brady comes in, and who did he face? Mahomes.
Hmm.
And they're just like, you know what? Show us the money. Show us the money. I would be
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this? It doesn't make it more exciting for me.
Yeah. And here's the thing is like these things playing out in the media, it's never a positive. Like UFC, they don't give a fuck, man. Yoel, see ya. Overeem, see ya. JDS, see ya. They don't give a fuck, dude. The show goes on, man. They have guaranteed money from ESPN now. The show goes on. Now, I watched this event Sunday morning. Okay. My first message into the thread, bold prediction. Jones doesn't accept a fight against Ngannou. That was Sunday morning after I watched the fight. And it ties into this. Is Jones afraid to fight him? Of course not. No, these guys, sure, they have nerves and they're human, but are they afraid? Like, he thinks he'll beat him.
Mm-hmm.
However, whether he's complicit or not, his whole team, his handlers, his agent, they all see it through a different lens and they get the risk reward. So there's a few things occurring here. So Jones and DC have a long time rivalry. If Jones moves up and gets decapitated, he's now done something that DC or he hasn't that DC's already done. That gives DC a leg up there. There's a huge legacy thing here, right? So the risk, the whole money thing, my theory is like, okay, is he going to go up there and fight him for what he normally gets paid? I don't know, because I don't know what he gets normally paid, and it doesn't really matter. But for him to take that level of risk versus Ngannou, who is probably the most terrifying fighter in the history of the sport, the reward needs to be worth it. But at the same time, like, this should be behind the scenes stuff, man. It never helps you to say just cut me, and like this stuff playing out on Twitter, like that's not where you negotiate things, man.
That's where you go to die.
Correct.
Twitter is where you go to be a piece of shit. Or I do like that they are accessible, so I'll give it that. What you said about Jones, the other thing was when is he going to lose? When's the end of his career? When's the next chapter in his life? What is he wanting to do? And you want to make sure and have that big payday. You kind of want to go out, and I think that will come into play also. And maybe the people, his handlers, everyone around him also. But I'm waiting for him to do his next crazy thing. We still got.
This may be it, man. He kind of had a Twitter mental breakdown, I feel like.
There's going to be more stuff going on. But let's say you get a percentage of the pay-per-view. You fighting Ngannou, isn't that being paid? Like, let's say, I got 2%, just some arbitrary number, 2%. And then you go and have this big fight. You still get 2%. You still get a ton of money. It's kind of based on what you bring in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't take one side or the other because it's just insufficient data.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just, it's an extracurricular that isn't involved in the sport, and it starts to have taste like boxing, which tastes like shit.
It's correct. And like, I'm guessing he has a contract that he signed. So if you're not happy with it, you can sit out until you have leverage or renegotiate behind the scenes. But like, like it just the whole Twitter back and forth and all that stuff. It's just, and Dana did start it, so I will acknowledge that with his comment how if he was Jones, he'd go to middleweight or
But
whatever he said.
I will say, I think that was Dana just being
Giving
funny.
props to Ngannou.
Like, I think and he was just kind of being funny. But then when he said the thing about Derek Lewis,
what do you say about Lewis?
that Derek Lewis is the fight to make, I think that was more of a shot at Jon. But I don't know if that's when Jon Jones already tweeted out, "Show me the money," and I think that pissed Dana off.
Right.
Why not come in there, be excited? Dana will promote it for you. What was he going to negotiate right there? I don't know. I don't even want to. Just stop. I'm stopping.
But maybe it plays to another culture or demographic, like kids or something. Millennials love this kind of fucking talk. I don't know, man. I'm becoming get off my lawn guy. I want you just to be quiet, like not be quiet. Like you can share your opinion and stuff, but like when it comes to the contractual negotiations, I just don't give a fuck. And like you, it never really leaves a positive taste in my mouth.
All right. So here's a positive taste in your mouth. What'd you think of Luque versus Woodley?
So Vicente Nathaniel Wood Luque. Guy brought out the Nathaniel Wood fights John Dotson, brings out the most exciting Dotson since he fought Dillashaw at the TUF finale. Or I guess the Manny Gambarian fight you can throw in there too. Quickest hand speed of all time. So yeah, it was an amazing 4 minutes, man. I highly enjoyed it.
It was, and you could tell Woodley came out, and that I felt good about my pick there because I saw like it was basically based off of Luque not being TKO'd in the UFC, being able to handle that, has a decent chin, and that proved to be the difference. And that's a guy who you could tell is an expert in the Darce Anaconda. When in all of that going on, it's not necessarily, I mean, it's somewhat early in the fight, but there's exchanges that have taken place and he goes for it and commits to it. You could tell he has a knack for it. And these guys, DC, I always have a problem with these guys not fighting the submission early, especially the hands turning, whatever you need to do. But I'll give some leash to Woodley because he was hurt.
Well, I was going to say with Woodley, I've never seen someone have like stiff legs for that long that I can remember. It felt like an eternity. And like he's kind of like wobbling back and they just kind of like stiff it up on him. And he was like, who was the guy who went stiff first, Tank Abbott back in the 2000s?
Like John Matua?
Is it John Matua? Thank you. And
after his head hit the ground. All right. I'm not going to talk about Luque's call out afterwards because we'll talk about it later. Nate Diaz. We'll get to that. Let's go to the last fight on the card. O'Malley versus Almeida. Not so sweet technique, minus 25,000 walk-off KOs. Everyone who does a walk-off KO has to pitch into this fund to come up with the 25,000. I don't know, the want to look cool. Like, what is a walk-off KO versus a non-walk-off KO? O'Malley did it and then gave that guy an opportunity to fight back. How much? I don't know, but whatever. It was still provided a couple extra seconds. Is walking over that much cooler than running over? And it's not that, oh, I don't want to hit this guy again. Oh, the ref should stop it. You're just trying to be cool. I don't want him to take extra punishment. Okay, guy. Yeah,
it's like he's trying to force a viral moment.
True. And so was Ngannou's KO not that cool because he didn't walk off? He instead walked up and dropped the hammer of death.
I'm the hammer of death I'm partial to. Didn't Hendo invent that versus Bisping at UFC 100? Where the guy is no
Yeah.
longer with you, but you just drop that bomb on his head anyway?
Yeah, because you got sick of shit he said, and whatever. To each their own. It's just this walk-off thing. And O'Malley, he explained it afterwards, or he defended himself. You only have 15 minutes a couple times a year. You got to do something sweet. Which, okay, he provided a response to it. And then my response is maybe fighters need to fight more often then.
Yeah. And the thing is like from that moment on, he never looked as good as he did up until that point.
So you're saying walking off actually was an expenditure of energy.
It's somehow diminished his performance or the aesthetics of it.
Or maybe he had to reset his thinking was that this fight's over. Now I gotta get back into the mental. Or he could have maybe pulled back because he's like, this guy's lasting long. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could be, multi-factorial. I will say though, everyone's been, so Kristen said this because she's like, it's about 3 minutes and she goes, is O'Malley fighting anybody? Because they haven't mentioned Almeida one time in 3 minutes. It's just a 3-minute dick slurp. It's like these guys need to be a little more impartial. And I get it. You're excited in there and you've had him on your pod and you watch his YouTube videos and his highlights till 4 a.m. and whatever. But you're also a broadcaster who people are listening to, expecting like a balanced impression of the fight. And O'Malley did clearly win the fight throughout, but they did it in Adesanya versus Jan's fight as well. Like these guys either need to like take a step back or fucking study under some real broadcasters or do something, because I feel like the fanboyish response to certain fighters is only growing stronger as time goes on.
And I want to make sure that I don't sound like a hater, and that I mentioned this is his not so sweet technique, because that's just something technical that he did. And I'll remove the skills from the extracurriculars because I do like what O'Malley has to offer. And I can tell he worked on his, I think it was his left hand. He's continued to develop his front kick, which I like. And I like when it's complement with the head kick. He cracked him with the head kick, and he's got skills. You can tell he's working on stuff. I'm excited to see his next fight. And the last episode, I said this is a perfect opportunity for him to come back, kind of do something. Kind of got a guy who's going to stand with them, generally, probably with his hands.
Yeah.
And he did what he needed to do. There's always something happening with O'Malley. He had like the leg injury with the post-fight interview where they took the Amazon cardboard box. They did the x-ray in the octagon. He had the Vera, low kick. He has like this walk-off, non-walk-off. Like before the last fight or this fight, he had that Casey Kenny and Megan Anderson thing on his podcast. Something's always surrounding him, and that probably is a benefit to him.
Yeah. Actually, I'll say this, like, to me, that's the best he's looked in the UFC. Like, I enjoyed watching his technique, and I thought he looked great in there. But, yeah.
So what do you think of him wanting to fight Dominic Cruz?
And Cruz wants to fight him?
I don't know. I didn't watch the interview.
So I believe Cruz texted Troll Sonnen and threw his name in the or threw his hat in the ring to fight him.
Is this coming from Chael Sonnen or is this coming from Dominic Cruz?
Chael Sonnen.
All right.
Take it with a pound of salt.
Just don't take it.
Correct.
But
I mean, yeah, why not, man? I'm into it. Cruz is although he did win his last fight, but he's kind of like a waning, aging former great.
But I think O'Malley needs to come back, fight that next level guy, like Vera level and above. And I'm not gonna lie, kind of would anticipate the trash talk between these two.
That could be fun. Yeah, I think Dominic Cruz is the perfect aging journeyman to welcome Sean O'Malley into greater stardom.
Wait, he turned into a journeyman?
Correct.
Okay, so he wasn't always.
Brother Mark helped remind me of this fact because I stated in our thread that Connor's a journeyman now. And then Mark said, everyone becomes one eventually. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, GSP, but many do. Like GSP didn't, Demetrius didn't, but most champions become a journeyman before their career ends. Tyron Woodley, journeyman.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Journeyman, I have the hardest time defining that gatekeeper and gatekeeper. So
journeyman has actually a great definition on Google. Shall I read it?
Yeah, you shall.
A sports player who is reliable but not outstanding. I would say a journeyman is just below a gatekeeper.
Then what's a gatekeeper? A journeyman?
Possibly.
Okay.
Well, a journeyman can also be someone below a gatekeeper as well. They can be Joe Lozon. Okay. Never a gatekeeper. But I guess there's a gatekeeper at every level in the sport.
So JFL possibly has some journeymen, or are they all journeymen? Or they're career journeymen? Sorry, I'm asking way too many questions.
Definitely members. So this came up in the thread, and you're on vacation, but the journeyman Mount Rushmore. And actually, no, I brought this up in the thread, but who would be on? I'm like, Jim Miller, journeyman Mount Rushmore. I put Bisping on there. He journeymaned his way into a championship and a defense. Sure, his defense was a guy who's 45 years old, but he's still a journeyman. Matt Serra. Not at Bisping's level journeyman, but he's a great journeyman ambassador for the sport. Obviously, Masvidal and Nate Diaz have parlayed journeymanism into superstardom, but neither one are great.
Which Terra is better, Rivera or Serra?
That's my all-time least favorite nickname.
Really?
Yeah. Matt the Terra, Serra.
I don't know why I kind of like it.
Oh my God, I hate it.
Sorry,
listen, dude. Teach their own, man. Maybe. I was gonna say I don't know what this is. I was gonna bring up like a Kodiak cake reference, but it doesn't fit here.
Oh, whoa, something great.
No, it's just saying it's like someone can love something and the other person cannot like it just based on their taste.
Okay, what spider is better, Spider or Despida?
Now, Despida is Kendall Grove, right?
Yes.
And Spider is Silva.
And The Last Samurai is Tom Cruise. The Last Samurai is BJ Penn's son.
Here's the thing. When you're speaking aloud, it's easy to say The Last Samurai. Like I would, because I don't enunciate. But when it's in written word, duh, it doesn't. It's
Oh,
aesthetically unappeasing to me.
okay. I can get behind that. All right. There are no fans at these events, but there's celebrities at these events now.
Paul, I got a thought here.
Okay.
Said it. I had a note, I think, somewhere, but I lost it. But I enjoy the events without fans much more than I do with fans. I think fans in the audience ruin this. They don't ruin it. It's just a negative.
Is it
Ole,
because the woo?
ole, you got that bullshit going on nonstop. Bunch of fucking idiots in there, and then they can't even see the fight, so they're screaming during stupid times when like it's not really a good reason to scream, like, oh, a double leg, oh, a double leg. Like, dude, like nothing happened there. The guy got up 2 seconds later.
What about when they boo when the fight's on the ground?
That too. Live fans are a negative on the sport. If I was at UFC, I'd say, you know what? No more live fans. Pay-per-view up $5 more a month, and we're done with fans. They ruin the sport. Or maybe you have to. I don't know what you do, like,
You
but
just
I'm
make
in.
celebrities pay for couches on the side.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But
Did you
I enjoy the event so much more without fans in there.
did you see the celebrities there?
No.
It was Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly.
Are they together?
I think so. And that's also Stipe's, that's who he comes out to, I think.
He's from Cleveland.
What about Travis and Kourtney Kardashian?
I'm reading this now.
They were there.
Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker enjoyed double date with Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly.
So they're just they have their couch there, so celebrities can go there, but fans can't go there. I'm kind of confused by this. Then what
Here's
are
the
they?
thing.
Are they a part of the UFC? Is fucking Kourtney Kardashian in Miranda Maverick's corner or something?
So I just learned this actually. I just learned this about sports. Like, all those like minority owners in the UFC. So generally speaking, minority owners don't have any say. They don't really get, if they sell their stake, they'll get a profit, but they get nothing out of minority ownership except free tickets.
So you get free tickets if you're black.
Black?
I was making a shit joke there.
I had to reword it in my head. I'm
owners.
like, hang on. Okay, I missed this. Oh, minority ownership.
I take
Yeah,
that.
man.
I thought about it and I was like, nah, don't do it. And I was like,
No, that's okay, man. That's good. That's good, man.
all right. So that explains it for me. Now, my next question is Travis and Kourtney, in full disclosure, so there's not a conflict of interest. I love Kourtney Kardashian. Okay.
Correct.
I like the way she looks. Okay. Just leave it at that. They're both sucking on suckers. Why are two? I mean, it's okay to suck on suckers. I like candy. I have a sweet tooth, but they're both sucking on suckers at this exact moment where the camera's on them. And I'm just wondering, is it because he's like, immediately I thought he's an alcoholic. He's a recovering alcoholic. I don't know why, if you have a sucker in your mouth with your girlfriend at an event, that maybe I think you're a recovering alcoholic. And where did they get the sucker? Did they bring a bunch of blow pops? I'm just kind of confused by the sucker.
I'm thinking like back. I'm like, is there like people walk around with, like, the peanut trays, peanuts? Is there some with the sucker tray as well? You know what? I bet they're getting free stuff. They're getting like a little. I bet they're getting like a little. What's like, because like people who attend the Oscars get this. Like what? Like a little pack of goodies. There's a name for it, but I'm trying to blank on what it is.
I'm just looking up. It's Travis Barker.
Travis Barker.
Oh, dependence on prescription drugs that were given him to aid in his healing. Talks tragedy and addiction. Travis Barker in sobriety from addiction to recovery. So it looks like it wasn't alcoholism, but I guess I've been around enough addicts, and I am one to understand. Maybe that, I don't know. But there is one thing I was also thinking when I saw it: fentanyl pop. You ever hear of those?
No.
It's when fentanyl was big before all the big overdoses happened, I feel, with the fentanyl and heroin. But it was like fentanyl in this sucker, and there were however many milligrams.
So, Travis Barker was in a plane crash, and he was one of the 2 only survivors on the plane crash.
I don't know if man, it sounds familiar, but I don't know if I'm creating some false memory. So I'm going to say no.
2/3 of his body was burned.
Crazy. Well, yeah, it says after the crash. Damn. Wow. All right.
Man, he underwent 27 surgeries.
Performance bonus, Travis Barker. An additional bonus, plus 5,000, Vicente Luque for his Darce choke, which is a non-rear naked choke or guillotine sub on a numbered event. Plus 5,000, Alonzo Menafield for the non-rear naked choke or guillotine on a numbered event. Plus 5,000, Alonzo, for one of your favorite bonuses, which is finishing someone who missed weight.
Is he the son of an NFL player? Because that name Menafield sounds familiar.
Isn't there a Bob Menafield? I think there is, but he's like he's a funny guy who does. Oh, that's Bob Menery. Sorry.
There is a Bob Menery.
I will say it's ironic that he finished him with the Von Flu or Von Prue, considering his last opponent was OSP. So he must have been practicing that one.
Coming back real quick to O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
So he beat Marlon. No, Marlon Vera beat him.
Yes. Well,
so he has 0 wins versus a top 10 opponent. Cruz is ranked 9th. Just surprising to me, actually.
You thought he'd be ranked higher or lower?
Or unranked.
So lower.
He has like 1 or 2 wins like in a half decade. I mean, that's kind of his pattern.
Yeah, I'm not even going to do it. Plus 2,500, Miranda Maverick's shoulders. Did you notice them? And how dare Brother Mark fast forward through the quote unquote woman's fight?
Not gonna lie, man. I watched that on a little bit of a blazing speed myself.
All right. Well, she's a 20.
That was Cruz's first win in 5 years, man. And he's ranked 9th? Based on what? Being a great color commentator?
No, Casey Kenny was good. I'm not saying he should be ranked because of that. I'm saying Casey Kenny was decent.
He did beat Nathaniel Wood in his last fight.
I like that nickname. By the way, I like that nickname you had for Vicente.
Just surprise here. Kenny's fight versus Nathaniel Wood. Fight of the night. I mean, shocker.
Shocker. Do you know Miranda Maverick's nickname?
Goose.
Wow. Good guess.
Top Gun connection.
Fear the.
Is Maverick a move?
I guess it could be a person like Mel Gibson. Miranda.
So I was gonna say the greatest Maverick ever is Mel Gibson in the movie Maverick with James Garner.
Correct. Yeah.
That Maverick is superior to the one in Top Gun, hands down.
I've seen that movie more times than anyone with any intelligence to see that movie. Miranda Fear the Maverick. I get it, but it's funny that her last name is actually someone else's nickname. You know who the Maverick is, right?
Yes, hang on. Luka Doncic.
Nope, Luca Brazzi. No, it's
So can
Michael.
I real quick on the movie The Maverick? Whenever you and I go on a tangent about some great movie, it's always from like 1994. They released it when we were 13 years old.
And it
Maverick,
sucks.
1994. Milk Money, same era. And there's a common theme here.
They all kind of suck too, but they're great.
What do you think Maverick's IMDb ranking is?
Damn.
It's got to be higher than the other movie.
No, I don't think it is. 6.2.
7.1.
What? Are you kidding me?
That's pretty fucking good, man.
No wonder I watched this. Now I feel justified. That's what I feel. Vindicated.
Hey, listen, Mel Gibson, Jamie Foster, James Garner. The movie can't be bad. It's literally impossible. Alfred Molina's in it too. James Coburn. Come on, man. I'm probably going to watch this in the near future.
I should probably watch it. Next episode will be our top 5 Maverick moments. People will be like, what the fuck has this turned into?
What % of listeners do you think have seen the movie Maverick?
1%. 1%.
It's low, man. I guarantee it's low. Hey, HBO Max, it's free.
You know what? I'm going to start watching it right now while the show's on.
You know what?
You can go ahead and talk, man.
We got to do a Maverick companion.
And I want to be sued by Mel Gibson. Personally.
Listen, we'll have some cocktails. We'll throw on the movie Maverick, and we'll have a Maverick watch party.
I would love it. Do we dress up like we're in the Old West? Do we have a riverboat or something?
So I just mentioned this, like, have you ever seen the Mississippi River?
Have I ever seen it?
Or been to it, I guess. Seen it in person.
I don't think so.
I just think that'd be really cool, man. Isn't it huge? Like super wide across? I don't even know. I don't want to know until I get there now. So don't tell me, please.
Okay. I mean,
how cool would it be though to do like a riverboat gambling tour on the fucking Mississippi River, man? Playing cards, smoking cigars, blowing lines.
Just having a shootout? Are you bringing a revolver? You're going to kill somebody? So you want to go on the Ozarks riverboat, basically. You're excited for Ozarks season 4 is basically what you're telling me.
I hope the entire season takes place on the riverboat.
That's their casino, right?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Fight Boat either. Michael Chiesa has Maverick as his nickname.
That's right. That's why I blacked it out.
Last thing I want to talk about on this event is plus $100 Sean O'Malley's hair. I kind of liked it. Even though I don't smoke weed, I can respect weed. And the color.
His Wikipedia page that's 7 years old of him, he's unrecognizable.
Sean O'Malley?
Yeah, if you go to Wikipedia, Sean O'Malley, he appears to be fresh off of a walk-off finish, actually.
They need to change that picture. What is that picture? Get him. He has had how many UFC fights? They have him defending his 135-pound belt at IFC.
And the photo says O'Malley in 2014, and his first pro fight is in 2015. Did he defend the belt as an amateur? I don't know, man.
No, I'm done. All right.
Performance deduction Wikipedia page.
Yes. Rank these 3 fight announcements and denouncements. Number 1, Darren Till out versus Marvin Vettori. Number 2, Kevin Holland in versus Marvin Vettori. And number 3, Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz.
Okay. This will surprise you. Number 1 is Darren Till not versus Marvin Vettori. And I'll tell you why. There's a good reason for this. That motherfucker was going to jump the line if he won. This is the universe making the world right. And I feel bad he's training all that kind of stuff. I do.
Mhm.
But he was about to go in there, win a 5-round uneventful decision, and he was going to jump the line at middleweight without deserving that honor.
He was going to jump ahead of my boyfriend,
Right.
Bobby.
So, like, it sucks. I mean, I feel for him. It sucks for him, man. It does. But now that won't happen.
So what's number 2?
Diaz versus Leon Edwards. I feel like this is your Super Bowl. You've been begging for Edwards versus Diaz, I think, for 2 or 3 years.
What is he thinking?
What is the early line on that? Are we bringing back lock of the season?
Just so people know, I love Leon Edwards, and I have liked him for a long time. And he's always been a guy not worth the risk. And I never thought Nate Diaz would fight him because I just think it's not a good matchup for him. And it's not this sexy fight where a guy I think you match up well stylistically. I got sidetracked and just started looking at Leon Edwards' body. So let me get back.
No one can blame you for that.
It's looking like a mini Ngannou there, man. Quadricep. That vastus lateralis is a perfect tier. It's like those crybaby candies that I used to love.
So you've been calling for Edwards versus Diaz since he beat Albert Tumanov back in 2016, I think.
Oh, Albert Tumanov. His top moment, him versus Gunnar Nelson.
What happened to him, man?
Whoa. Minus. Oh, that was Jorge Masvidal.
Tumanov's last fight was versus Edwards in the UFC. He's won 5 straight since.
So here's what I thought.
Good.
I wanted this. Look, I like Jorge Masvidal and everything, but I like Leon Edwards. And I personally would have liked Jorge Masvidal to fight him a little bit more, because everybody talks about the 3-piece in the soda. And what I was most impressed with was Jorge Masvidal's hand speed was unbelievable there, but Leon Edwards was right there. He had a little damaged eye or something like that. He didn't like go down or anything. He was right there.
Well, in fairness to Edwards,
not that
Masvidal's more street than Edwards, so therefore he had the advantage in that encounter.
Yeah, and Edwards, I don't know, I just can't get that close. True, but I'm not seeing any lines right now. Okay, whoa. These are FanDuel minus 275, Leon Edwards. Whoa. But we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, if you bet a unit on that, you're getting 36% on your money.
Who was the unit? Was that Randy Johnson?
Big unit.
Big unit? Damn.
Yeah.
Who's little unit? All right. So So then number 3 is Kevin Holland versus Marvin Vettori. Are you glad that Kevin Holland filled in?
So with Holland, I kind of came full circle, and like, if your goal is to be fun and silly and have fun out there, like, do your thing, and it is what it is. But if you're someone who kind of had a negative perception of Holland after his last performance, this should help kind of reduce that a little bit, I think, because like this is like what 3-4 days notice. Is the fight in 3 days?
Oh my God, there's a fight on this weekend? Don't they need a couple weeks to repair the octagon after Francis Ngannou fights in it? No. No, April 10th. Had to have Easter off, huh?
I wish Easter followed every numbered event.
So you just wish Jesus kept rising from the dead. I guess that's good. Or doesn't matter.
You got Frank's Rock of the Season on here.
Whoa, what is that?
That's any fight with Mackenzie Dern.
I didn't know Mackenzie Dern was fighting this weekend. Let me see this. Mackenzie Dern, versus Nina. My boyfriend, girlfriend's significant other.
Honorary member of the Journeyman Mount Rushmore is headlining the prelims.
Mr. Jim Miller. I'm like a sister wife. I'm basically Mormon. I'm a sister wife with Nina Ansaroff.
Correct. Although
maybe there's others.
They don't know it though. Only you know it.
Well, I'm just back there vacuuming, washing the windows, getting the shit clean, churning butter, whatever the hell they do, make dresses, getting the wheelbarrow set up for Amanda's wheelbarrow carries for her strength and conditioning. Oh, what about, there's one of your favorites with a beautiful smile, Mr. Sam Alvey.
Oh, man. Let's actually pivot here real fast because I got to get off the Sam Alvey topic real quick. This came out after our last recording, but Miocic Tate said she has the style to beat Nunez. I can already fucking see her getting one win at bantamweight and getting a featherweight title shot. Listen, man, it's not even a bull prediction. That's a reality. It's going to happen. Tate beats Marion Renault, moves up, challenges Nunez at featherweight, book it the summer of 20, or I don't know when Tate's fighting Renault, but it'll be before the fall of this year.
If anyone asked me if I had to trade lives with someone else, who would I trade it with? It'd probably be Amanda Nunes, because I'm not saying Miocic Tate's easy money, but now Amanda's just like, come on, girls, keep it coming. And she has she somehow does not pull back, somehow doesn't lose motivation and goes in there for utter annihilation. And that's different than annihilation.
Paul, how much motivation do you need to put it on Talon?
Yeah, I guess you don't need much. You just go in there and just do it, huh? Easy day's work.
I mean, it's not that big of a disparity. Obviously, I'm having some fun here.
Maybe it is.
But it's a big disparity.
But Alvey gets to fight the Cuban Missile Crisis. Maybe one of my favorite nicknames. I mean, when you're talking about Cold War.
If Marquez wins this fight, I watch not one, I watch two Cuban Missile Crisis documentaries in honor of his victory over Sam Alvey.
Nice. Man, I might just watch the whole Cuba Libre documentary. It's like an 8-part series or something. I just might watch that for the 3rd or 4th time. What about
the Jack Black movie?
The Platinum.
Cuba Libre?
D-Rod. Not to be confused with Nacho Libre, James. Mike Perry. You know what my girlfriend said to me when we were driving home from vacation? Oh, by the way, teaser, we got some vacation moments, okay? Top 7. But this is not one of them. She says, oh, Platinum Princess has a men's line now. And I don't know if that was like a hint for me to grab a pair of leggings or something. So if you see me in some Platinum Princess leggings, you know where it came from, man.
I'm considering getting leggings.
Do you?
I'll report back to you because I like the coverage. Like this is for hiking, actually. I like the full coverage, but I want to wick away sweat so I'm not like hot.
I used to always wear tights or leggings or whatever underneath
No,
shorts
just
when it was
I
cold.
think it's lower body rash guard. Like that's like a cooler term, right? Rash guard for your legs.
Yeah, I guess so. Like Eddie Bravo likes wearing them for the grip.
That's what I'm
So
gonna say. Oh, you're wearing tights? Eddie Bravo wears them.
no,
What?
just say yeah. I can. It really helps my grip on my triangle. Guys can't slip out of my triangle. That's what you say. Bam. Helps my crackhead control.
I like how we broke down this next card 2 weeks out. So what do we do next week?
Oh, why did we even talk about it? Okay, so customizable portion, specifically tailored to your needs. Turn it off anytime after this point. Still consider listening to the entire show. Cannot be held against us. I went to Cuyahoga Valley and Columbus Zoo. So here are my top 7 moments.
Now, real quick, you hit another park down there over Thanksgiving, I believe. And didn't we discuss Cuyahoga Valley on that episode? What's the other massive park in Ohio?
Hocking Hills.
Didn't you go there?
I went to Hocking Hills, but I've never been to Cuyahoga Valley.
But we discussed Cuyahoga Valley.
We could have. I don't remember.
Because remember, I was reading the Google reviews. Some hardcore now remembers this. Like, oh, it was like 4.8 stars, higher than Redwood Forest, I think.
Anyway. Hocking Hills was super high, but maybe Cuyahoga was also.
Is next on your list Mammoth Cave?
I don't know if there's a next on my list.
Because that's a national park and it's only in Kentucky.
Yeah. It's just I'm not like a crazy national park guy or whatever. We had gotten the kids some camelback things, wanted to keep them interested in outdoors and wanted to go to the zoo. The main thing was the Columbus Zoo. And it was like, hell, let's go over that way and check it out. And number 7 was actually driving back. We had left the hotel. We're about 20 minutes out on our way home. And the hotel is calling. And I was like, oh, we got to answer it. She answers it. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is blah, 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 calling from the hotel. You had left something here. And at that moment, I was like, please don't let it be me. Please don't let it be mine. Please let it be hers. Don't let it be mine. And it's not like we argue with each other a lot or anything like that, but I just felt myself thinking that please let it be hers. Please let it be hers. And then boom, it was the laptop computer. And I was like, yes. And then we're like, all right, we're going to turn around. And we just, left it at that. We weren't in a fight, but maybe I can use it for future leverage. I don't know. But I just found myself that slight hesitation that the guy had on speakerphone. I was like, oh, come on, baby. It was like red or black on roulette. And I bet on black. I think anyone in a relationship can understand that somewhat. Number 6, beer.
Beer.
So what is my favorite percentage beer, James?
7% range.
Yeah. So we had a couple of 7s. Headhunter, Fatheads Brewery, Insane Wanderer from Columbus Brewing Company. The Headhunter is 7.5%. The Insane Wanderer was 7.4%. Just delicious. It's like always good. Rarely is it bad. For me.
Yeah, you're right. Because you can, if they're a little stronger, they can be a little bit much for me at least. Okay. Yeah, so my palate prefers that range as well. Unless I'm drinking more throughout then I gotta go under 5%. Just too old these days, man. Too old.
Oh, yeah, I get crazy. Next thing you know, it sneaks up on you. Number 5 was we we had the Netflix. We logged in, it's right in there in the TV. And I like to fall asleep to World War II in color. So I'm like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to watch. And I'm starting to think, like, is this even, should I be having the kids watch this? Is this good or is it bad? But we're sitting there. My girlfriend and youngest have like fallen asleep, and she had a little bit to drink that night, and so did I. And my oldest is watching. We're watching a little stuff, little Stalin, little Blitzkrieg, whatever, and he's asking me questions like, "Oh, this," and he's more inquisitive about that kind of stuff, and I'm answering. So we're talking about just different things happening with World War II. And he's just asking these questions. And I'm kind of tying it into these more like things that can actually apply into your current life or the way people think or whatnot. And we keep talking and we're deep and we're like towards the end of like an episode. And I'll just kind of mix it up with what episode I'll fall asleep to. And it's like, yeah, okay. And I'm not quiet. He's on the other bed. We have the two beds. So he's on the other bed. And I'm just like, oh, yeah. And Stalin. And all of a sudden, boom, a hand comes up and cups my mouth. And it's my girlfriend. she had enough of the World War II talk. And, she was just trying to fall asleep. And it was just kind of funny. It is what it is. Number 4 is sex on the counter. All right. Number 3 is no. Number 4 was that. And it's, you got to find different areas. When you have kids, they're kind of, they're in there and you got to,
which is a bathroom counter?
Yeah, bathroom counter. It wasn't the counter right there next to the coffee machine, which it could have been.
Because my first question was, where were the boys? And I'm sure others thought that. I'm glad you clarified there, because the first thought was like, okay, where were the boys during this period of time? Is there like a babysitting playpen and the main floor and the lobby?
That is true. They're in the house. They're watching some kind of, got to turn on some Caillou or something like that. No, just turn on whatever they're playing on a Switch or something. But we're in there. I wanted to go in the shower. I had a couple of, headhunters. If I get 3 deep, I'm saucy, meaning whatever. I'm rather have sex or fight, one of those two things, or laugh. I'm having fun, but I wanted to get in the shower. She's like, my hair, babe. So just come do me on the counter, something to that effect. She's got to endure me wanting dirty talk all the time. So yeah, so that was good.
I'm taking notes.
Number 3. It was Ledges Trail. So we're not even in like all of us on the trip, we're not even at Cuyahoga or Columbus Zoo. But here, number 3 was Ledges Trail. And it was a cool trail where.
How do you spell it?
Ledges trail.
Ledges, got it.
It was just some area where I thought it was also good. It was good for kids. I love the view of the rock. I love rock. Okay. That's why I loved Utah. And I like a trail that it isn't like just some path that you got to walk on like a hamster for however long. I like having your own kind of just whatever. You want to go this way, you want to go round, you want to climb some stuff, try to make it fun. I won't just do a trail for a trail's sake, like a trail bagger. I guess that'd be kind of like a peak bagger. You just want to do it just to have it or whatever. I'm not. And also anything under 5, I never say I hike something. I think that's under 5 miles or 3 miles or whatever. When you got to walk to something and they'll be like, oh, it's a 2-mile hike or whatever. I never looked at that as a hike. I'm always like, yeah, you walk to the thing. I don't know. Is this some random thought I had, but, it was cool with the different. I don't know if any listeners had been there, but the Ledges Trail I thought was just pretty cool with the rocks, and then you can kind of there's like the freestyle areas where you can kind of just do your own thing, and that's what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I'm looking at it right now on All Trails app. All Trails app is the best to look at hiking.
All Trails helped me big time one night in Needles in Canyonlands. You can when you're like pro or whatever the hell you paid for it. You can download the map or whatnot. But sometimes the trail is marked out and you have your GPS on it, and it helped me at nighttime in Needles on this hike where I thought we were going to have to just spend the night out there, even though I had headlamps, because it's not like a trail. You have to find cairns and you're in and out of canyons and stuff. And the All Trails was an excellent compliment one night.
This says Ledges Trail has a cave.
Yeah, what is it? Icebox Cave or something like that?
I don't know. It just says there's a cave.
There
is a lot of fucking hiking at Cuyahoga Valley. Or walking, depending on how you want to interpret
it. Yeah.
Anything on a trail to me is a hike.
Okay. See, everyone.
Even if it's 0.7 miles, it's a hike.
Okay. To me, a hike, I gotta either it has to have an incline of 45 degrees, or I have to eat lunch. One of those two.
Okay.
That's just off the top of my head. I actually could be just talking shit right now. I don't know. So I liked Ledges Trail. That was the best trail I liked there. Number 2 was Columbus Zoo. Was more specifically, we walk up, we're in the little African area, and they have these 2 cheetahs. So I had just read a story that in Columbus Zoo, one of the cheetahs charged at one of the trainers. And the trainer had to go look at it at the hospital or whatever. I don't know if it pawed at him, it bit at him or what, but one of the cheetahs was a bad boy. And I don't know if the guy had just got done feeding the giraffes or what. I think that's what I read, just skimming over the story. But we went there, and the cheetahs, there are 2 different cheetah areas, but one of them, they're behind this fence and they're relatively close. And I could see the one kind of going back and forth, and the people are like, oh, oh, wow. And you're kind of up close. And I could see that cheetah is eyeing this little girl who's kind of running around, and not that many people were noticing, I think. So I said, Talon, come here. You need to go and get this cheetah to chase you, kind of like how you get Oliver to chase you. And it was, Oliver is the cat that we cat sit for, my girlfriend's brother. So I'm like, you gotta do it right, but he's going to want to get you. And so he went there, and he's kind of doing it. And both of the boys got the cheetahs fired up. You could tell the cheetahs were getting going. And I had witnessed that, but I had known it from a previous time that I visited this like personal zoo of somebody I knew who would rescue animals. And I remember this Black Panther wanting my nephew. Didn't pay attention to anybody else, but this Black Panther, once my nephew came about, this thing wanted him, and it wanted to kill him. And of course, it couldn't get behind a certain fencing, caging, or whatever. And this cheetah was kind of the same. And I thought it was just so interesting how it's like, wow, the cheetah's very active, but it's actually wanting to kill these children. And I just think there's this whole little interaction where it's kind of, it's funny, but it's this terrible thing that it's wanting to do.
Thing is, like, the cheetah is beautiful, but terrifying looking at the same time.
Yes.
Like, scary.
Yes.
Is a Black Panther a form of a cheetah, or is it a leopard?
I think it's a form of a leopard. Yeah. It just has the different gene that's being expressed or whatnot. And I think a jaguar can have a variation of being black too. I've always been super fascinated with leopards, especially because their agility and how they're just excellent climbers.
Yeah, Black Panther leopard.
And Then we're to this other part where this cheetah's lying in this grass, and you kind of look from above, and the cheetah was right there, and it was so close. And there's this African music playing, and my girlfriend's like, "Oh man, this is great." And then they'll call overhead, and she's like, "No, put the African music back on." And it was crazy how just looking there and then having the music playing would change just your whole perception of the experience.
Yeah, for sure. The
When it's like,
ambiance.
hey, na, 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 and you're like,
Lion King?
they're fucking grazing out in the Serengeti. Yeah. Now,
At least it wasn't Hakuna Matata playing.
do you hate that song, or just you thought it'd be kind of?
It'd be kind of cheesy, wouldn't it?
Okay. And can you guess what the kids' favorite part of the zoo is?
Snack bar.
Close. It's every kid's favorite part of any zoo. The Dippin'
Hang on.
Dots.
The what?
Sorry,
What is it?
Dippin' Dots.
Oh.
So if you ever have your niece or nephew or somebody, whatever kind of kid, take them to the Dippin' Dot stand if you want to make them happy.
I'm surprised the zoo isn't number one.
Here's why. Because during the vacation, I remembered a story and it brought great entertainment to me. So my number one moment has nothing to do with this vacation. It's just the fact that I remembered this on the vacation.
Okay.
So it fit the criteria on a technicality. Okay. When Y2K, do you remember where you were at Y2K New Year's Eve?
Yeah, is that my dad's?
Okay. If anyone who lived through Y2K, there's all this drama and shit about when the computer 00, all this stuff is going to happen and blah, blah.
Yeah.
You remember all that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember people preparing for Y2K?
Like
cans
Doomsday
and
Preppers, right?
Yeah.
Didn't the show Doomsday Prepper begin right around Y2K?
It may have. It may have. Because people are like cans and they're getting their water and stuff. And I feel like we knew some people that did that. And but I remember New Year's Eve, I was at some party in Warren, and I talked with this other person, and we started talking about the Y2K and everything. And I said, we got to find the fuse box. She's like, all right. And we eventually go downstairs and find the fuse box. I'm kind of eyeing it and everything. And so we're down there and we just got to wait for the 10, 9. And you don't have to watch anything else. It's just an audio cue and you just have to wait for it. 3, 2, 1, and bam, dropped off the fuse box. And it was just great. It was so entertaining just remembering that story because I hadn't thought about it in so long. And everyone like, hey, oh my God, what the fuck? Oh, I told you, and all that kind of crap. And
how long did you keep it going?
We all I was trying to think of a quick joke there, but I can't remember. But you know me, I like holding on a joke for a little while, but I think I was also having fun at the party. So it had to at least been a few minutes. It wasn't like I turned it right back on. I was like, oh, we did the fuse box. No. I got to let these people try to figure it out. And there's going to be people switching on and off the lights. But no, we got to go directly to the source. If somebody would have been out there, I don't know, maybe I would have called DTE and had them shut off the power. So I don't know what I would have done to get this joke to come through. But I don't know. It almost brought a tear to my eye.
I think I stayed in because there was like 4% of me who's like, could something go down? Let me just stay in just in case the crazies fucking come out.
Or you could have some murderer or something thinking it's the end of the world. You want to know what was the dumbest? The 2012 thing.
I also stayed in then too, just in case. Like, I didn't think the world's going to come to an end due to the Mayan calendar, whatever. But I'm like, let me stay in just in case.
I can respect that.
And maybe it's a fear of other people doing dumb shit.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense.
Like, I'm at the point now in my age where when we were driving down to South Carolina the second time, we like, all right, let's do the night before and stay over somewhere in Ohio to make our drive the next day shorter. But I'm like, we got to be in the hotel by this time. And like my cutoff, I believe it was 11 o'clock. We ended up pushing to midnight, but I don't like being out that late. I don't want to be out on the roads at midnight or 11 p.m. I want to be home. I want to be comfortable. I want to be warm. I'm not a fan of being out there after a certain time, because when are the most ER visits in the hospital? They're not between 9 and 5 p.m.
Oh, hold on. The most ER visits. Yeah. It's going to be whenever there's more activity. But the tragic stuff. Yeah. Drunk driver going the wrong way in the freeway. A drunk driver on the freeway is generally at nighttime. Yes.
Yeah. So I try to be in early. Whereas before, when we were younger, we didn't go out till it was 9 or 10 p.m. That's when the night started.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'll stay up later here and there or whatever, but like, I'm trying to be in my house, man, after a certain time. That's who I am these days.
Well, that's I guess that's all I got, man.
Let's get the fuck out of here.